It's money on a Monday, and over the last 10 years, we've seen a booming property market, a growth in property prices, which have been a boom for some, a bust for other. Working class, historically affordable suburbs in Cape Town, property prices rising roughly from 70% to 100% over the past decade. Mid-tier suburbs like Belleville, Parow, Goodwood, on average, has seen property prices increase by something like 73 to 87%. Even in the entry-level market, those homes that have historically been below 1 million rand, some areas have seen prices double, and this largely driven by a shortage of supply. There was a property that did catch our interest in the Grassy Park area. On the property pages for as much as 5 million rand. In the comments of those pages, very much mocked as overpriced, prices being dated, commentators questioning where the value is coming from. But not only at 5 million rand property in Grassy Park, also similar surprises emerging in areas like Crawford, where a very modest family home now breaking the 2.5 million rand mark. And this bigger question now being asked: are we seeing real demand-driven growth, or is it a market distortion that's fueled by many things? Could it be immigration? Could it be scarcity? Could it be the shifting lifestyle pressures? To tell us more is Clint Crowster. He's a property practitioner, actually based in the Grassy Park area. Good morning, Clint. Really appreciate your time. Let's look at some of these, and with the utmost of goodwill. I'm from Grassy Park, so I know and I generally understand what would be property trends in that area. But when you see a 5 million rand listing in Grassy Park, is that an anomaly, or is this maybe part of a broader market shift here?
Good morning, Lester, and good morning to your listeners. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, that was a strange one. It certainly caught the attention of everybody. I don't know if that was the intention of the agency listing it or the seller, but it's definitely an anomaly. I mean, certainly that property, by our standards, when we do a market assessment on a property, is not worth 5 million rand at face value. But there is a certain, I believe, target audience that seller is looking for. It's not your average home buyer, first-time home buyer, or for a family. I believe that seller is pricing it well. It price it at the future potential of that property to be developed into a land that hosts multiple units on it. Now, in saying that, the 727 square meter property at 5 million to be developed, it's going to be tough for an investor to look at that and go, okay, I can make a really good profit here if I put 12 to 18 units on it. Because there are a number of things to consider. There's zoning rights that change, all kinds of planning fees. Everything needs to go in his favor to make that happen. But I see recently they changed it to 3.5 million. But in the description of the listing, 4.95, only 5 million is still there. So they perhaps a little slow to catch up on editing the description as well. But it's back at 3.5 million now.
So this adds another conversation, another point in our conversation about the increasing price of property. It's also speaking to the future value when it comes to a city that is very much in the planning phases to densify. A property that is about 270 square meters. It's no longer going to be looking just for one brick and mortar building. You could maybe put 4 on there, and property owners are looking at what could it be worth if it was later rezoned and later redeveloped, instead of a one building property to maybe a property with 4 houses on.
Correct, yes. But I mean, the Western Cape is strong, but buyers are not desperate. They are selective. I mean, if your property is priced correctly, the market will respond accordingly. if it is priced on emotion, the market will expose it, just as they did this one property. But not the properties. I mean, they are different. The target audience is different for each property, and so I mean, these prices are Cape Town is in demand because, as you alluded to at the start of your show here, semi-migration, and also buyers buy for confidence. People have confidence in the city, how it is run. Obviously, we can't predict the future, and things like the war affect things globally. I mean, the prices of building material goes up because there's an energy crisis, and so everything goes up. And it's not necessarily guaranteed that a developer with these forecasts and projections will come through because of what can potentially increase due to macroeconomic factors that affect us here.
Clint, at what point does a suburb stop being working class or middle class in pricing terms, even if the community identity hasn't changed? We're seeing, and I use the Grassy Park example, I've used the Crawford example, also looking at areas like Belleville and Parow, parts of Goodwood, saying that the community identity hasn't changed, but the property values are speaking to a price that is beyond what maybe psychologically we would call that working middle property price mark.
Oh, Lester, that's a tough question. I mean, if I just go back years ago, my parents moved from Portland's Mitchell's Plain to Grassy Park, and that was in 1991. They paid 110,000 Rand for our Grassy Park home. That same home is now worth probably between 2 to 2.5 million Rand. The average property price in Grassy Park is between 1.5 million to 2.7 million Rand. It's a tough question to answer that, but I would assume that as the average income in South Africa increases, that is how, suburbs or people's class sort of shifts. If you look at the average household income that shifts within South Africa, I think right now it's on about anywhere between 4,500 to 14,000 Rand. I stand corrected. But I would imagine that would cause shifts.
Look, and I do appreciate that there's the aspirational middle class young professional families which are growing in number. But when we talk about a property bubble here, are we seeing this as a healthy appreciation, or what could soon be an affordability crisis for many people in these communities? Kids grow older, they want to find places of their own, they want to live close to mom and dad. But if they look at, and you use your example, a house that used to be 100,000, now a young professional couple would need to fork out 2.5 to live in the same area in which they grow up in.
Oh, no, it's extremely tough. I mean, I think parents nowadays, potentially in the as they would call it, non-affluent suburbs, potentially have to leave their homes for their kids. That's their investment for their kids. That's their legacy that they leave for their kids moving forward. So it is becoming really, really tough. And I mean, it's more to do with the socioeconomic factors that potentially the government needs to help facilitate moving in a more positive direction. But it's really tough out there, and it's not something that I could potentially answer. It's potentially an economist that can give you the answers to those questions. Yeah,
still appreciate. No, I still appreciate your insight. Clint Crowster is a real estate agent based in Grassy Park.